Are you thinking about moving or relocating to Columbus, Ohio, and trying to figure out the top suburbs to live? You might be a little bit frustrated trying to gather information online about areas and neighborhoods and just trying to figure it all out. Which one is the best one that might work for you and your family? Well, in this video, I'm going to break down 4 of the most popular suburbs, talk a little bit about their amenities, their schools, their pros and cons, and finally the cost of housing in each one. And it all starts right now. So let's go! If this is the first time to my channel, then welcome. My name is Mark Van Stein. I make videos about what it's like to work, live, and play in Columbus, Ohio. I was born and raised in Columbus, so I know a little bit about the city and all the different ins and outs. If you're considering moving to Columbus and looking for more information, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below because I am dropping new videos every week. Please do me a favor and hit that like button. It lets YouTube know that, hey, Mark's doing a pretty good job. Most importantly, if you're thinking about relocating or moving here, make your life a little easier and give me a call. I'm a full-time RE/MAX realtor and have been helping people relocate to Columbus for the last 18 years. So I've got a little bit of experience. So what are the top suburbs to live in Columbus, Ohio? Obviously, everyone's going to have their own opinion. This video is my opinion. What you'll learn is that everyone thinks where they live is the best, and that's where you need to move. My mother calls it neighborhood patriotism. I came up with the list in this video based on a few factors. Schools, cost of housing, the most requested areas by my clients moving to Columbus from other cities. There are many other nice suburbs in the areas in Central Ohio, but this is my list of the most popular, in no particular order. Make sure you stay to the end because I'm going to do a comparison of the 4 in real sales numbers from this year on what your dollar can buy you in each specific area. First, let's talk about Dublin, Ohio. Dublin is a northwest suburb of the city, mostly north of Route 33 and west of Riverside Drive. Now, I discuss in other videos on this channel that you need to be careful when looking for houses. You just can't search based on city or area. Dublin is a perfect example of that. The school district will come up over a little bit on the east side of the river, but it's mostly on the west side. I grew up right on the boundary of Dublin and Worthington. 50 years ago, Dublin was an undeveloped suburb. Then, renowned golfer Jack Nicklaus and Desmond Muirhead had a vision. They decided to build a world-class golf course. The land was acquired back in the mid-60s. Construction started in the early 70s. With the golf course came luxury homes and development. It really hasn't stopped since then. The community continues to push northwest into the school district up into Jerome. The Dublin School District is the 9th largest in the state with more than 16,000 students. The district encompasses 47 square miles and includes parts of Dublin, Hilliard, Columbus, and Upper Arlington. It also crosses 3 different counties, Franklin, Delaware, and Union, and consistently is ranked one of the best in the area. Dublin has a lot of fantastic amenities as well, with one of the most popular with my clients being the bike paths. You can literally almost ride from one side of Dublin to the other and never have to get on the road. This is obviously very popular with people who have children. The shopping and restaurants and entertainment area has also gotten much better in the last several years with the development of Bridge Park. Bridge Park connected old downtown Dublin with the new development on the east side of the river. I have to say they did a fantastic job. Dublin Schools has a wide diversity of housing and homes and condos, which can start in the low $200,000 range and go up to the multi-million dollars. It really depends on the style of the home you're looking for and, of course, your budget. Next, I'm going to talk about Powell. And being fully transparent, I live in Powell, so I think it's the best of all these suburbs. What did I tell you about neighborhood patriotism, right? Powell is just directly north of Worthington, which are both north of Columbus downtown. Like Dublin, when I was growing up, Powell was just a sleepy little area. I actually had a fraternity brother at Ohio State who was from Powell, and we used to tease him constantly all the time about growing up out in the sticks. Well, 30 years later, I'm the one who lives in Powell. What happened is in the early 2000s, Powell, which had a lot of land for expansion, began to explode. In fact, it was one of the fastest growing areas in the country for a while. A lot of my generation from Worthington started moving north towards the new construction. I jokingly call Powell Worthington North because so many of my friends have ended up in the area. So how did I end up in Powell? Well, my first house was in an area called Clintonville, where I lived for about 8 years in a beautiful home built in the 1920s. Then I got married and my wife moved in. She saw the size of our closets and our bathrooms and said, "We are out of here." She wasn't very fond of storing half of her clothes down in the basement. I mean, I didn't have a problem with that, but she certainly did. We really had the opportunity to move anywhere in the city. We chose Powell based on a couple of different reasons. First was the school system. Olentangy schools are wonderful. I actually have another video on this channel where I go over the top 5 rated school districts in the city. So if schools are important to you, you should check that video out. Secondly is its location. Being directly north of downtown, it's easy to jump on the freeway and get to the Ohio State University or any of the metro areas. Powell has maintained some of that small town charm. The one traffic light downtown has some great shops and restaurants, and there are a couple of really nice parks in the area as well. Part of the development push in Powell were 2 new country clubs in the city, Kinsale and Cider Reserve, which were built back in the early part of the 2000s. A large part of that development is called Golf Village. The developer thought it would be easier to sell off lots if they were built around some sort of club. So Kinsale and Cider Reserve were built. And that push continues today, further north into Delaware County, staying within the Olentangy School District. Number 3 is Upper Arlington. Upper Arlington is located just west of Ohio State University. It's the closest of the suburbs to downtown that I'm going to discuss in this video. I jokingly like to refer to Upper Arlington, or Arlington, as it's often referred to, there is no difference, as the bubble. The world's just a little bit better inside the bubble. Of course, I'm kidding. Upper Arlington and Worthington, where I grew up, were huge high school rivals, so I like to kid. What I found out is that Arlington, like other parts of Columbus, will attract people back who grew up there when it's time to settle down. My sister and her husband are a perfect example of this. He grew up in Upper Arlington, and when it was time for them to get married and start a family, there was nowhere else in Columbus they were going to live. He just had such a great experience growing up there that he wanted my nephew and my niece, to have that same type of experience. Arlington is landlocked. There hasn't been much new housing built there in decades. Yes, there are a few houses here and there, but it's mostly people tearing down existing homes and then to build new ones, or like splitting off a huge lot so they can build another home. It's interesting, you can see the different vintages of housing as you go north. It's like the 20s, the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 80s, and then that's it. One thing Upper Arlington does have an abundance of is charm. The neighborhoods are mature and there's fantastic architecture from the 1920s and 30s. What it's going to lack are the open floor plans, large kitchens and closets, and yards that are available in other parts of the city. The school district is also one of the tops in Central Ohio. They're actually building a brand new high school right now. Upper Arlington School District is not necessarily going to be as large as like an Olentangy or a Dillon because, there's no room for new growth. Of course, all this location, charm, and great schools comes with a cost. Upper Arlington has one of the most expensive real estate in the city. So if you love the charm and it's within your budget, it might be the right place for you. Lastly is New Albany. New Albany is on the northeast side of Columbus and has been making news recently because Intel will be building their chip plants just on the north side of the suburb and just south of Johnstown. New Albany is another good example of a community that was just a sleepy little agriculture town 25 years ago. Then a gentleman by the name of Lex Wexner had a vision. Mr. Wexner is our resident billionaire and founder of the Limited brand. You may know the Limited brands as Bath & Body Works, Victoria's Secret, Pink, The Limited, Lane Bryant, Abercrombie & Fitch. Now, they've split off into their own companies, but they're all still located in the New Albany area. He really wanted to build a community around his stores, so he bought up much of the land and started developing. I lived in New York City for several years after college, and I remember coming back to Columbus to visit, my mom taking me out to lunch over at Easton, which is the commercial district really close to New Albany. At that point, Easton was just a small little covered mall, and it was literally out in the middle of nowhere. I said to my mom, "Who in the world would want to live out here?" And she said, "Just wait and see." Today, New Albany is a thriving community that has attracted companies like Amazon and Facebook to its community. The New Albany company, which is Wexner's developmental arm, did an amazing job planning every part of the community, which was possible because they owned a lot of the land that was completely undeveloped. They planned where everything was going to go: the commercial, the roads, the neighborhoods, the infrastructure, the sewers, everything. It's really a good testament to good city planning. The community is cemented by the country club and a small downtown area. One thing you will notice immediately about New Albany is the architectural style, which is Georgian with lots of red brick. I often get the comment that all the houses look the same. You really have to like that style to live in that part of the community. There are some other neighborhoods that are more in style with the current trends. As you're driving around, you may come across a set of beautiful buildings and say, "Wow, I didn't know there was a small university in New Albany." Well, that's the local high school. Not only New Albany schools are excellent, but they have one of the nicest high schools I have ever seen. It literally looks like a small university, and it's just located outside the downtown area. There's also an area called Upper Albany as well, which is on the north side of Route 161 and consists of a lot of condos and apartments. Upper Albany is nice as well, but it's not in the New Albany School District. So if schools aren't important to you and you want to live on the northeast side, Upper Albany may be a good alternative. Now comes the fun part. Let's do a real estate comparison between the four communities to see what your dollar would buy in each. I've got to tell you, I'm a numbers guy, and the most important thing to me is not only do my clients buy a nice home in an area they feel comfortable in, but they make a good investment as well. Let's keep this easy and use a nice round number of $500,000. So I searched between $490 and $500 to come up with that average. Now that might seem like a lot or not that much depending on where you're at in life's journey, but it's a number that we're going to need to use to get into some of these communities. Let's start again with Dublin. Dublin is a larger area, and for this analysis I used all of Dublin schools. There were 37 homes that sold last year with an average of 4+ bedrooms, 2+ full baths, 2,567 square feet, and sold for around $204 a square foot. 28 homes sold in Powell with an average of 3+ bedrooms, 2+ full baths, 2,500 square feet, with a sales price of $208 a square foot. 19 homes sold in Upper Arlington with less than 3 bedrooms, less than 2 full baths, at 1,917 square feet at $275 a square foot. And lastly, New Albany only had 8 sales with 4+ bedrooms, 2+ full baths, 2,600+ square feet at $205 a square foot. Man, that's a lot of numbers to rattle off. So what did we learn from this analysis? The price of homes in Powell, New Albany, and Dublin were all very similar per square foot, and the size of the home. However, New Albany had much less homes available at our average price of $500,000, almost 1/4 the number in Powell and 1/5 the number in Upper Arlington. Upper Arlington was by far the most expensive at $275 a square foot and bought you much less house at only less than 3 bedrooms, less than 2 full baths at around 1,900 square feet. Well, I hope this video is helpful. If it was, again, please hit that thumbs up button down below. It just lets YouTube know that, hey, Mark's doing a good job and helps me get my content out to more people. And check out some of the other videos on this channel where I go into a deeper dive about what life is like in the capital city. And of course, if you're moving or relocating to Central Ohio and need some help, please reach out. My team and I would love to assist you with your home buying needs. My contact information is down below and at the end of the video. Until next time.